Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Christian Music Writers Podcast. Once again, I'm Brendan, and I'm here with Braden.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
How are you doing today, Braden?
Doing good. Been a busy day, but all for it.
You're getting ready for the Objective Conference next week?
I am, yes, super excited for it. It's going to be an awesome weekend next weekend in Nashville with so many awesome people and music-wise. So it's going to be great.
It'll be great to see you in person doing that on a computer screen again.
Definitely, yes, excited for it.
Anyway, we are here today with a couple friends right now, but we have more friends joining us later. Right now, we have Whitlee Casey and Lauren Michelle joining us. We could also have Brandon Watson coming in later, Adam Joshua Castro, and Cody Towell. You guys have met all three of them before. They've been here in the past, just talking about different subjects, our Jeopardy episode, everything. But for the two guests that we have here, we'll let them introduce themselves now, and we'll start with Lauren.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having us here. This is awesome. I'm Lauren Michelle. I am a new Christian artist. I was in a showcase last year called You God's Music, made it to the top 5, and that is what steamrolled all of my music. Fun fact, guys, my music is all funded on donations. I quit my job last year to move in with family so that I could homeschool my little ones. I have a 5 and 6-year-old and 28 years old. And through that obedience, the Lord has just opened up all these doors for music, and it's been a blessing. And so now I'm back in that competition too. I just made the top 50, which is really cool. But I have 3 songs out right now. If you want to check it out, they're anywhere you listen to music.
Thank you for that introduction, and thank you for joining us today. We're glad you're here.
Thank
Whitlee,
you.
you want to go ahead?
Hey, what's going on? I'm Whitlee Casey. I'm from the great state of Texas, and I've been a Christian artist probably about 15 plus years now, traveling and getting to lead worship and play Christian festivals all around the country. But I am also, for the first time, in the You God's Music Showcase as well, and I'm looking forward to what God does through that and all my songs and ministry and that and the opportunities that can make friendships and new possible songwriting connections and things in that as well. But I also lead worship in my home church, Temple Bible Church, here in Temple, Texas. And you can find all my music online at whitleecasey.com. And looking forward to talking to you guys today.
And we'll tag both of your guys' profiles in our description of like our podcast on our Instagram. And then we usually list our artist names in the description of the video. It's hard to tag people in YouTube, but if you know how to do it, let me know. And like I said, we do have Adam Castro joining us and Brandon Watson. They both just texted me. They'll be here in the next few minutes. So when we're recording, speaking of, actually, perfect timing, IQ.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Hi, Brandon. Can you hear us?
What's up?
Welcome
Yes, I can hear you guys. Sorry for my tardiness.
No, you're good. I just said I'm going to introduce our next guests when they come in because we're still waiting on a couple people. And then there you go. He just popped in like cue, right on cue.
I knew it. It was the Lord.
We planned this just like you two being in the showcase together. We just planned Brandon joining in at that time. See, we just know everything. But Brandon, since you're here now, you want to just quickly introduce yourself to our listeners. Some of our listeners are new, some are returning, but you've been here before. But go ahead.
Yeah. Hey everyone. Brandon Watson. I am a Texas native, born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. Now currently living in Franklin, Tennessee, just south of Nashville, Tennessee, with my lovely wife, who's a podcaster, and I've been in the music industry for a little over 10 years, as a professional artist, just traveling and touring and writing songs. And I've also been a worship pastor for over 15 years in Texas. Currently full-time now, singer-songwriter, musician, writing TV and film placements for music, and love it. We just moved out here to Franklin beginning of the year. Never in my life have I ever have had so many emergency notifications from tornado warnings as I did last night. I was like, oh my gosh. It was like every 10 minutes. But
you guys, at least you're safe.
Everybody's good. Everybody's safe. I was used to the flash flood warnings in Texas, but the tornado warnings is like a whole nother level. I'm like, oh my gosh. Do I need to leave? Do I need to stay? Where do I need to go?
Yeah. Thanks again for joining us, Brandon. It's great to have you
man.
back.
Absolute. Thanks for having me.
And for those who are listening today, we're just going to have a worship song roundtable. We're just going to talk about worship songs, give you some recommendations. You might know some. And Brandon, do you have anything else you want to add off to that before we dive in?
Yeah, so thank you everyone again for watching this, and all the guests here are amazing people who have so much amazing songs. Definitely check them out, check out their music, and if there's something they say that stands out to you, let them know in the comments below, let them know in messages. Check out these songs. We're just here, like Brendan said, to showcase some worship songs, to share what the songs mean to us, how God's impacted us through worship music, and what we want to see more of, and how that's lead us to the Father. So it's going to be a fun discussion.
You miss out. I'm not making a playlist like last time because that's a lot of typing and research and trying to find the right song. And then we get sidetracked with album covers like last time.
True,
Like Brandon being on the cover of that Bandit album.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you what I started. We're not going to share the screen the whole time, but I started a little document just to get us started. So can you guys see my screen? I don't know what you guys can see. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So I called it the Ultimate Worship Songs List. I added all your guys' name in. If some of you are not here, I apologize. Your name's here, so you get credit. So congratulations. So this is a group project. For the first song I wrote, Too Good Not to Believe by Cody Carnes and Brandon Lake. Only reason I put this song on the playlist to start or the list is because I went to see Brandon Lake last week and I instantly fell in love with the song. I actually never knew it until I went to the concert, actually, believe it or not. Anyone else heard the song? It's yours.
Super good.
Anyone have any stories or anything they want to bring up the song? I'm just pushing these two along. You don't have to say anything. I'm just showing you our start. Awesome. I was just making sure no one had. And then the other song I put on right now is So Will I, 100 Billion Times by Hillsong United and Benjamin William Hastings. So Benjamin William Hastings, me and Brad were debating this. I think he's a better songwriter than Brandon Lake. They're both really good, but I'm personally a Brandon William Hastings person, but I just like that song a lot. And he was a special guest at the Brandon Lake show. He wasn't supposed to be there, then he just was a surprise guest the other night, and it just like blew my mind. I was like, this guy has talent.
For sure. Both are amazing songwriters. Like, it's amazing the songs they create. From Too Good Not Believe, So Will I. These songs have gone so far and reached so many people. They're the anointing on them. It's real.
So for a fun fact, so Brandon Lake has a song called More. Benjamin William Hastings actually wrote that song for his album, but Brandon Lake took it and put it on his album. But they traded Benjamin William Hastings' song Abandoned. Brandon Lake wrote that one, and they traded More for Abandoned. Found that out. So if you know anything about those songs, I recommend both of those two.
Song bartering is the best.
I'm just saying that. It was like just a random fun fact for those who are listening to this podcast. But I don't want to ramble on too long. So does anyone have a song they want to add to my list? Because I don't want to keep talking.
I'll kind of talk about So Will I for a second. I remember our worship team bringing that in like the first time we started leading it at church, and we have our tablets with like all the chords and all the lyrics, and I just remember like, wow, this song has so many lyrics, like so many words to like if you're memorizing that, it's like wow. But then you look in depth of like how powerful each line is, and it's just like insane. It's like that was a very, very well written song. So
definitely. And I figured out the later years of Hillsong, because they've slowly disbanded, there's been more and more like a lot of their new songs are like heavy on lyrics, if you haven't realized.
Yeah.
Like I think they merged from like courses that repeat itself to more like heavy lyrics. Like one of my favorite Hillsong songs, this is not one I put on there, is Blown Away from their new album, Are We There Yet? Have you heard that song?
That's a good one. It's got like that long in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But so like I feel like nowadays if you look at worship music as a whole, back to where it was maybe 15 years ago, it was like a lot of courses repeat. It's like the same line repeats itself, but now they're going more in depth with more lyrics, I think, in my opinion. Brandon, you have anything you want to add off this very quick?
Yeah, you definitely can see. I mean, there's still a lot of songs that are coming out there with choruses repetitive, where a bridge comes in and just keeps on going. But you also see a lot of songs that they care about theology. They care about really putting the word in there. And I love both ones of those. Sometimes you need declaration to keep saying. Sometimes you need to go deep in the word and just in the song and uncover the truth that they've put in there. So both ways work. I don't like one way more than the other if it's pushed too much. Because sometimes I'm like, man, do we have to repeat this chorus again? And sometimes like my church did So Will I once a few years ago. And I remember the screen messed up and they lost the lyrics. So they just winged through it. That was the first time they've done it. And they never did it since then because they got completely lost. It's still a great song, but there's definitely a balance, I think, that just how you do worship songs. If So Will I stands out to you, praise God. If another song that repeats itself over and over stands out to you, that's awesome too. Just however God uses it.
Thank you for your insight. And I don't think that was when I was there. So I went
It
there
wasn't
church once. It was an interesting topic. Anyone have a song they want to add or talk about? We can add it to the list.
I don't know if you guys have heard Crowns Down. Oh, sorry.
Ladies first.
Ladies
Ladies
first.
first. Go ahead.
Crown. I'm waiting to
Crowns
find my list.
Down.
So
I have to.
Has done so well with our congregation. I forgot to mention I've been a worship leader for 8 years. That song, we could do it every week, and people just really fix their focus on Christ with that song. It's biblical, and it's just ultimate surrender, guys. I mean, that song is awesome. Again, I don't know if you've heard it yet, but
who is it by any chance? Is it Gateway
It's,
Worship?
Gateway Worship and Josh Baldwin.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have to say this. I don't know if you can see this, but I pulled up our worship team app and I was literally about to say the same thing.
Nice.
You guys are all you both are so in sync today. That's pretty cool because you guys are
I was because I'm leading practice tonight, and I was like, well, what are we singing that I could
That's
talk about?
hilarious. I have rehearsal tonight too, and we're doing Crowns Down. I was like, we've done that a lot, but it's really good.
That's so
That
cool.
Holy Forever. We do Holy Forever on
Oh,
repeat too.
Holy Forever
Oh,
Yeah.
is the new How Great Is Our God. Yes.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
That's
for
yeah,
sure.
that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't heard the song. Don't hate me.
You haven't heard Holy Forever.
No, I heard Holy Forever. I'm talking about the Crowns Down song.
Oh, I haven't heard that one either, to be honest,
It's
which was
really good.
very interesting if everybody's doing
Talking
it,
about it.
which is, yeah, I'm gonna have to get on the bandwagon.
And we have another friend joining in. He's buffering in right now. Sorry to interrupt, but Adam Castro is now joining us. So like once Adam gets situated, we'll have him introduce himself. But yeah, I never heard of this Crowns Down. I know who Josh Baldwin is and everything. So I know who that is, but I just never heard that song.
It's a great song. Mhm.
Hi Adam.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Pleasure seeing you here again. Thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're just gonna take a pause very quick. We were talking about the song "Crowns Down" by Gateway Worship. Do you know anything about that song before I let you introduce yourself? Sorry.
Which is the title again?
"Crowns Down" by Gateway Worship and Josh Baldwin.
No, that's a new one for me.
See, at least so we're half and half. Half of us know it, and half of us know it. Well, Adam, you just joined in. We'll let you introduce yourself very quick. So, Adam, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? My name is Adam Castro. I am a product of the 2000s Christian rock and metal scene over here in Southern California. And I'm also in a Christian metal band called Classic Disaster. And I also am a worship leader at Faith Fellowship in La Palma, California.
I feel like me and Brad are the only ones that are not worship leaders here, Brad. Maybe we should step up our game.
You never know.
But thank you for joining us again. I think we met again about a year ago, actually. I think you were on our Jeopardy episode, if I remember right.
So much fun. Yeah, absolutely.
I think were you the winning team?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't
I don't remember
remember.
who won that. I'm sorry. It was like it went down to the last question. I remember that much, but we did
It
a
was all
Jeopardy
for
episode.
yeah, go for it.
We did a Jeopardy episode, and Adam was one of our contestants. So anyway,
That's awesome.
thank you again
I
for
would fail
joining
at Jeopardy.
It was like I spent like 3 days making like a big Jeopardy board, and it was like 5 categories, 5 songs each, and everything with like a point tracker and everything.
That's awesome.
Like it took like all my free time, but it was worth it. Anyway, Crowns Down. I added it to our list. I haven't heard the song. Brad, you said you've heard it. Do you have any stories, or anyone have any stories about the song very quick? Nobody? Okay. Anyone else have a song to add to the list? So we now have Adam, just to recap very quick, because you joined in late. We have Too Good Not to Believe by Cody Carnes and Brandon Lake. So Will I, Billion Times by Hillsong United and Benjamin William Hastings. Then the Crowns Down song.
Awesome.
Since we're on the Cody Carnes topic, Nothing Else is such a good song. I know it's probably been done a ton all over church culture and worship teams, but specifically, I remember me and my team back in San Antonio when we were during the pandemic and everything kind of just shut down, and we're just kind of like, what is about to happen? What is going on? How are we about to do church? And all the questions that everybody was having on church staff and those things and just navigating those things. And I just remember our team and our staff had planned what we were calling midweeks at the time. Um, and it was like cafe style, podcast style interview, but it was a service and we were streaming it live. And so our lead pastor was sitting down and just interviewing with different artists, local artists that were in San Antonio or local pastors, and just highlighting the testimony of what God was doing in their life at the time. And then we were doing worship, just stripped down acoustic, just raw, transparent, genuine. And it was just some of the most beautiful, intimate times of worship, even though there was nobody in the room. And, it was one of those things that it was just like, we really leaned into that song of Nothing Else. And it really became an anthem during that time of just like, you know, God, really, all we want is you at this point. There take away all the fluff and all of the glam and all of the programs and all of the things. Take away planning center. It's fine. We're okay. We can lean into what the Holy Spirit is doing. We can lean into what you're doing in this time. And that was one of those songs for us that really resonated with our team, and it resonated with me as a worship pastor and a leader, and just it was just more than just a song at that time. It was, the sound of the house.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything to say off this song or off Brandon?
I would say with Cody's song, Christ Be Magnified was big in our church.
Oh, yep. That's a big one.
And there's been a lot of songs lately that just like they have a great verse and a great chorus, but like a bridge, like in Christ Be Magnified with the build lyrically and just musically puts it in a whole nother level. And so Christ Be Magnified has been a big one for us too.
That is a good one.
That was a big one.
Like for me, I think that whole album, like in general, just if you're looking for a good worship album to play, you should play the album, because I think Christ Be Magnified, Nothing Else, they're all on the same album outside of Too Good Not to Believe, but that's like one of the better worship albums in the recent years for me. I think like Cody Carr's kind of exploded out of nowhere. Like I knew, like when I went last time, when I first saw him, it's like Carrie Job and Cody Carnes. I was like, who is Cody Carnes? I didn't know who he was at the time. To be honest, I didn't know who he was when he was on Winter Gym. This was like 2016, 15. I don't remember exact year. I'm like, who's Cody Carnes? And she's like, my husband. I was like, wait, she has a husband that has music, and this is like when he first came out on the scene. So I was just surprised by it.
While we're on topic of that album, also Run to the Father is on that one, and it is
it's fire. That one's fire. Yeah,
literally, it has wrecked me so many times, and just hearing it in worship, seeing people just run to God in that moment, whether it's from experiences they've gone through, or because like me, I grew up without a father for a good point in my life. So that song to me is really something that holds a good place in my heart. Just that God, I can run to Him and everything. Give them all the hurt, all the pain, and seeing youth especially interact with this song I've been at youth conferences. They've done this. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another song I was going to bring up. And the only other song I'm going to bring off this album before we switch, no more Cody after this. No offense to Cody. We need to talk about other artists because I think it's another thing. I doubt Cody's watching this, but just fair to say. Nothing But the Blood is also a big song off the album. So that like whole album is just like a huge album. And I feel like when you go back and look at, if I made a book about like the top 10 worship albums in the last 10 years, like if I made an article, that would be one of the albums I would put on it. Oh, thanks for the insights on that song. Does Whitley or Adam have a song they want to add? Because we already had one from Lauren and Michelle. I mean, Lauren and Brandon, not Lauren and Michelle. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
You have two first names. So
my last name's weird, y'all. No one will be able to find me.
Well, what's your last name?
Zentz. I met my husband when I was 14. Guys, in gym class, I thought his last name was Zitz. I'm not gonna lie. And now it's my last
Oh.
name.
Wow.
So, Lauren Michelle.
Does anyone want to add a song?
I would
I-
say, oh, go ahead.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Another big one for our church, and just one that I share at conferences and stuff, is gratitude.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of times in our services, it's a good song ender for our services, and just a good send off for the week. But it's just that whole another realm of worship that it puts our congregation in. And like, I don't know what it is, but like I've had people come up and say like, it's been a hard week, but when you sing that song, I can forget about what's going on and just
Mhm.
lean into Jesus and just let him speak to me through that song. And so that's been a really good one that's ministering to our church right now.
That's a good one. That song was really good live too. Like, if you haven't witnessed it live, it's really good live. Like,
Mhm.
anyone have anything they want to say about gratitude? We don't have to talk about all of these. I'm just curious. Does anyone have any stories about gratitude or anything they want to bring up?
I would say
Yeah.
that one. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Go for it.
You can go ahead. I've talked more than you.
I was just gonna say that gratitude was the one I was gonna say too. It's such an awesome song that does like three things really well. It puts us in our position, right? Like there is nothing we bring that adds to God's glory. He just has that glory, right? There's nothing that we can do. But what we're doing is what we'll be doing for eternity. We're going to be singing out hallelujah. We're going to be singing to God and
Yeah.
praising him and worshiping him.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is that in that bridge, when we're singing out, come on, my soul, don't you get shy on me. Like I shared this with my church when we introduced the song, relatively new for my church, which I didn't realize when I had come in as a worship leader there. I shared with them that this is kind of like a modern "Bless the Lord, oh my soul."
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
this is a call to us encouraging our soul to worship God, for our soul to remember that our whole being is to worship God. And so I
Mhm.
love that this song does those three things really simply, but really effectively. And there's two songs lately that I've been piggybacking off of gratitude, and that's Endless Hallelujah from Corey Asbury and Phil Wickham's Hymn of Heaven. Like this
Mhm.
idea that we are going to be worshiping God for eternity. We're joining that eternal song. We're joining that the saints, of in heaven when we worship God. We're going to be singing out hallelujah. We're going to be singing praises to him. Holy, holy, holy is the name of the Lord. And like I just find it so
Mhm.
beautiful for us to kind of simply and just and just with gratitude put ourselves in that position to worship God now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And both of those two songs you brought up are really good songs too. And Corey Asbury was going to actually be the next artist I brought up. So it kind of blends in perfectly. Corey Asbury, Phil Wickham, those were two artists I was going to bring up.
Awesome.
So, has anyone listened to Phil Wickham's new album? I just wondering, like that came out last year, like I Believe.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I personally think it's his best album,
Oh
in my
gosh,
opinion.
by far.
And I feel like he's now maturing as a big artist. Like he's like the next big worship artist. I think he's like the next Chris Tomlin. I mean, he's been around forever, like Chris Tomlin,
Yeah.
but he just like exploded out of nowhere in like the last like 5-6 years.
Mm.
I remember when he had an independent album. We were playing a little bit of that independent album because I have it, and it was like completely different than what we're used to from like him.
Definitely, yeah. He's changed a lot over 15 years now, I think, doing music. He's been around for a long time now.
I love hearing interviews from him because like he's such a humble dude, and he from the interviews I've heard with him, he has changed his writing style from kind of like, oh, what is God putting on my heart to sing about, like that's in my life, and artistic and poetic and all those things, and he's kind of shifted to this more corporate, like congregational style. Like I
Yeah.
want to sing songs that the church needs right now. I want to write songs that the church really needs. And I feel like that's been really evident over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You're about to say something.
I was just gonna say, I agree with that when transitioning into congregational writing and stuff. But um, I've followed Phil, like, so one of my first people I followed when I got saved, my first Christian concert was Shane and Shane, and then that kind of led into discovering who Phil was through Shane, because they were doing all the Christmas tours and stuff like that. And then I started hearing Divine Romance and True Love, The Day True Love Died, and I was like, this dude is writing hardcore stuff right now. But then I totally agree. Like, even on the congregational aspect of writing, he's just like killing it, especially with the I Believe album. So
Yeah.
And too bad Cody's not here, because this would be a perfect time to merge into Cody's story, but Cody's actually in our friend Cody, who's not here. Brandon, you met Cody last time when we were here. He's in a Phil Wickham music video.
That's cool.
nice.
So that was something we were gonna. That would have been a perfect transition point, and we could have talked about his experience with that. He told us all about it when Brandon and I met with him like 3 months ago. Like, he's like
He's
right
really
behind Phil Wickham. So like him and Phil Wickham are like in the same shots, because he's like right behind Phil Wickham.
Wow.
Sorry, Brandon. Cody, if you
That's
were
a good
listening
day.
and you want to hear that, if you're listening, sorry, told your story without you here. I apologize. But it's really cool. And I think for like Phil Wickham, like if you listen to the song "This Is Amazing Grace," which is like his biggest single until like last few years, it's completely different than what we're used to him now.
hmm
Yeah.
And then there's been different, like a lot of rock covers of his album, like look at Honor and Glory, Battle Belongs, and everything. That's like he's getting a lot of rock and notice in the rock community too. Adam knows all about that.
Oh yeah. I throw in the Honor and Glory version of Battle Belongs riff in there every once in a while. It's not so far off from the original, but they definitely do a great job of adding their own flavor to an already amazing song. And yeah.
And we're gonna go bounce back into the rock worship category in just a second. But Corey Asbury, he's really done really well. Reckless Love is still his biggest hit to date, but I still think his album, The Father's House, is the biggest out Sparrows, my bad. Sparrows album, Sparrows. My bad. I apologize. But I think that's my favorite album from him personally. I think that song just has a lot of good songs.
hmm
And Corey Asbury is maturing as an artist too. And don't be surprised if he's like one of those people that will announce the next tour. I can see someone like him doing a tour of like, I don't know, Paparette or something, who's another talented songwriter that we haven't talked about yet. But if you go, we're gonna merge a little bit into the rock worship scene. You can see a lot of these rock bands now doing worship covers. That's why I asked Adam too to join us. And you know all about it. Like there's like Seventh Day Slumber and everything. They've been doing a lot of worship covers. They've been doing it for like good 10, 15 years now.
But before we go into that, I'm actually curious because it's Corey Asbury wrote the Reckless Love, right, which has been like super controversial for different churches and stuff. I love his heart. I feel like he's a worship artist who's not afraid to put down lyrics like that, you know. And the song Endless Hallelujah, I'm curious what you guys do for certain situations like this. And this is my conviction. And you know, it's I don't know if it's a common thing. I don't know if it's not a common thing, but Endless Hallelujah, the lyrics say like, in the morning when I rise to meet you, in the morning when I lift my eyes, the statement is said, you're the only one I want to cling to. You're the first thought on my mind. And when I looked at those words, I felt a little convicted because I know that that's, you know, 9 times out of 10, that's not true. I'm usually 9 times out of 10, I'm running late somewhere 15 minutes like I was to this, you know, and in my heart, it's hard for me to lead the congregation in a song in those specific words. The whole song is beautiful. The whole song is amazing. And that idea that we want God to be the first thought on our mind, that we want God to be the one that we cling to first thing in the morning, all throughout the day, and last thing at night. I've changed those words when we lead it congregationally to like, be the vision that I want to cling to, be the first thing on my mind. Like it's a prayer, it's a desire of ours to do that. Does anybody else kind of run into those situations where they feel like they have to maybe change words or change the song a little bit to match their own convictions or the church's convictions and things like that?
We've definitely had that circumstance come up before. I can't remember the song. I think it was Back to Life. I think the bridge of that song, my worship pastor, Dylan, actually rewrote for our church to relate to a little bit differently. So we definitely have done that. I was thinking of something when you were talking about that specific song, though. I love the words you chose, but I also feel like at the same time, there are people in your congregation that are 100% going to be able to relate to those words. But then there's going to be people who are convicted by those words, and that's okay too. Like
Mm.
that might be more of an encouragement to them. Like, wait a minute,
Right.
I want to be
Mhm.
able to believe those words when I sing that. And that might actually be something that draws them closer to the Lord is through that conviction of those words. But that was just something I was thinking when you were sharing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. Um, just to kind of speak to it a little bit, Adam, too, like I feel I've had both sides of the coin over the course of leading worship and my years of leading worship. And it's been, one, I've been on staff at a local church as a worship pastor and have run into those types of circumstances, but also as a guest worship leader coming into churches and leading for conferences or camps or things like that. And sometimes I've had moments of certain songs that leadership has come in the green room and has told me like, hey, we don't align with certain parts of that song.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
are you able to just take that song out, or are you able to, switch those lyrics or this or that? And honestly, it's one of those things of a heart posture all the time. That's what worship is about. Worship is sacrifice. It's not for us, even though we get filled when we worship our Lord and our Father, but worship is for the Father. And
Right,
so,
right.
when leadership asks something of you as a worship leader or as a worship pastor, the obedience of saying, you know what, yeah, no problem. God honors that. And God
Yeah.
looks at that and says, you know what, I can trust you with more. I can trust you in bigger rooms. I can trust you leading more people. I can trust you because you're willing to say it's not about me. I didn't write the song. I'm just leading the
Yeah.
song. So,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not my song. It's for the Lord. And so it's definitely something that is always to be aware of and to be intentional
Yeah.
about. And like what you said, Lauren, it's just like somebody in the room may feel either convicted or it may resonate with them. And that's goes back to our heart posture as a worship leader to just be willing and be able to just be a vessel. And yes, it's we have to be intentional and like, Lord, examine my heart, but
Yeah.
it's for a congregation, you know what I mean? And so it's so beautiful. Worship is just so beautiful because you have all of these things that intertwine all at once during a 35-minute
Yeah,
set, you
yeah.
know what I mean? So
And
Yeah.
that just speaks to the importance of us always having like that discernment and then also
Yeah.
faith and trust, because like
right.
God was working on Corey Asbury's heart when he was writing those lyrics.
Exactly. Mhm.
God's working on my heart of the congregation in that scenario
Yeah.
where you're saying maybe the church asked you not to play certain songs.
Right.
I've been put in that situation before too, or like if you're limited on the amount of songs you can do on a Sunday and you're like, oh, but I
Right.
really want this
Yeah.
other song to be a part. You have to trust that the words that are being said in that song aren't necessarily needed to
Mhm.
still
Yeah.
allow for the congregation to worship in that way. So it's all discernment and trust. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You definitely got to know your word. That's for sure. Like our worship team meets once a month to worship plan. And if there's even just one person on the team that's uncomfortable or convicted about a certain song that we're bringing to the table to do with the congregation, and they feel very strongly in backing it up with scripture, like, hey, I really don't think we should be doing this song. We don't do it. Like it has to be the whole team, or we all have to be on board. So there's a lot of vetting that goes into adding a new song.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility. Yeah. I think it's a good
Yeah.
thing that you guys do that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Agreed. Brad, do you have anything you want to say very quick before we transition to our last point before we wrap things up?
Yeah, well, I love that entire conversation. I'm not a worship leader, but I'm over here learning from it. Just as someone who's been a part of worship teams for in the background, I've helped set up, I've helped worship direct, and I've been there worshiping. I love just when it's genuine, there's a heart posture in it because the whole team just being in unity about this is what we feel God's convicted us to sing about. instead of just some team being like, I'm not sure about this. Just seeing the heart posture of the whole team really rally behind a song. Like, this is the words God's given that we think's meant to be released here. It's really, like you guys said, it's about being vessels. It's about being surrendered and just seeing how God uses those seeds, uses these songs. And I know for me, sometimes I get burned out from major worship bands putting out songs because they just feel so much like, sometimes not every band, but some of them, they feel like their songs is trying to be a hit instead of let's make something that's actually genuine. Like the song I think of How He Loves Us. That song
Yeah.
was not wrote to be a radio hit. It was not meant to still be sung now. It was just the heart cry of the guy writing it, just to be a song to really reach others with a genuine love, a genuine thing that he knew that we needed to sing about. We needed it in worship to give it to God. And I love the songs like that. That are just so personal, so heartfelt. I think of Monday Morning Faith by SCU Worship that just came out recently.
Yeah.
Like that song, it doesn't fit the mold of what worship we're used to a lot of times, but it's genuine. It's so true. And I know that song has affected and changed my heart so much. I just
Yeah.
love seeing that, how Holy Spirit wraps it all together and just releases
Yeah.
his hand. For all you guys being worship leaders, thank you for just having that surrendered heart to God, just to let him use you in that way in the songs you're singing. And every other one who's watching this podcast right now, like, it's an amazing thing. You guys are up there as vessels that God's pouring into you and you're releasing it through you. It's amazing to see how God does that. And we honor all you worship leaders for that. It's amazing.
Thank you for sharing that, Brandon. We appreciate your words and thoughts and everything. So we just have a few extra minutes. We're gonna just choose one or two artists that you think everyone should check out. We're not gonna go into songs. If you know like a song or like a band or an artist that's upcoming that not a lot of people know about, this is the time you can just share. Does anyone have anyone that's upcoming in the worship industry that people should check out? I'm just gonna put the names of the artists down.
Mark Barlow. I don't know if y'all know Mark Barlow or not, but he's definitely like underground worship, but he's done a lot of collaborations with some people, and he's just phenomenal. Phenomenal musician, writer, worship leader. He's awesome.
Haven't heard
I
of
would
him.
say, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say John Lind, Lind. I met him. I go live on TikTok every night, leading worship and just meeting other people. And I met John last year through TikTok, and he's phenomenal. One of the purest hearts towards the Lord that I've ever met. Very giving. Like I'm sitting here next to a mixing board and my headphones and my microphone and everything. And John supplied all of that. He writes his own music. He's now producing his own music. And guys, if you give his songs a listen, I mean, they're incredible. They're incredible.
I was gonna say, Brad, and you know this band personally, and we've had him on our podcast, but Klein.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys know anything about Klein, they're really good friends of Brad and I. And I think like they're coming, they're on tour right now with Alexander Papez. I'm pronouncing that wrong. I know I am. And Kate Thompson, but if you're looking for a new upcoming worship band, they only have like 3 singles out right now, but they're all really good.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Anyone else have anyone they want to recommend?
I was gonna say D Wilson, out of, I think he works with New Life Worship too, but the song we're doing right now is called Faithful and True. Incredible writer, and just puts out really good worship stuff for the church. But Faithful and True has been really speaking to our congregation and stuff. And it's a really good upbeat song to kick off your services and start your mornings. So D Wilson is pretty good.
No, I'll have to look that one up.
I know I'm typing it in right now.
I have it in the document too. I might have spelled the name wrong, but I tried. Anyone else have anyone? Or if there's any artists we missed? I know we missed a few artists, big name artists like Chris Tomlin, but everyone knows who Chris Tomlin is. Paparat, I brought up briefly. Paparat.
I keep thinking of Charity Gale. We do a lot of Charity Gale.
Yeah.
I love her music.
And then Paparat, kind of upcoming. Like he's been around. He's one of those artists that's been around forever, but is just now making it bigger. If that makes sense. Like we've talked about, like Phil, who started off small, but he's starting to go up higher. Like he actually wrote the song "Good Good Father" by Chris Tomlin. So I guess.
Oh.
So if you didn't know that, he actually wrote that song.
There's a band, a newer worship project called Renew Creative. Renew Creative, not to be confused with Ren Collective, because I always think of that word first because it's an RC, you know.
Mhm.
My church is a Baptist church, and I've been spending the last year basically trying to get the church up to speed with a lot of new songs that have been out. So there's like still a very long list of old songs that I'm still introducing. But there hasn't been a song that I've just been like, oh, I want to just bring this up to the top of the queue, and just share this song with my church. It's such an amazing, fun, happy, beautiful song, and it's called "Song of My Love for You," and it's by Renew Creative, and the singer is the old singer of Waverly. He was also either the guitarist or the singer for Audio Adrenaline, and so he's been in the Christian music industry for a long time. But this project just sounds so humble and fun, a little folky. Um, it's just you'll feel real happy and worshipful listening to that song. It's called "A Song of My Love for You" by Renew Creative. Yeah.
Add it to the list. Sorry, I always add a Renew Creative to the list. Yeah, so a couple other ones are upcoming. I just had a quick list. John Wesley Honecker of Reach City. I think Rich City's coming up. That's where I'm working, so they got a big following from there. The other one I was going to bring up is Jaywalkers Worship. I don't know if any of you know them. They're pretty good. They're an upcoming group too. So there's a lot of big upcoming worship bands that everyone should check out. And if for those who are listening, if you have ones that haven't we listed, you can say so in the comments. I know there's 800,000. We didn't even think about the 80s, like Michael W. Smith, Amy Grant, and all that. But we could just go on and on. But for the sake of time, we're not going to go to that with all of them. Anyone else have anything they want to say before I wrap this up today? I'll give you guys the floor very quick. You guys can talk about any project, like a music project you have coming out very quick. This is just for fun. Now we're done about the worship topic, but if you guys have anything you want to talk about coming up in your music world, go ahead.
I'm just trying to fund my next song. I'm like, I'm fully donated, like fully funded on donations with my songs, guys. That's the Lord. Because when the Lord called me to make music, I was like, Lord, there's no way. But if you want me to do this, I know you'll make the way. And it's just a testament that when he calls you to something, he does prepare every step of the way along. But I've got Identity out, All We Have, and Beautiful Way. But this next song is called Offering. And I put my heart and soul into this song, and I would love to get it to produce. So that's my next step. It's that one.
And we'll tag your profile on our Instagram so they can check you out and check
Thank you.
everything out. You're welcome. Anyone else have anything they're working on, or they have coming event they have coming up people can support or whatever?
Yeah, so I'm I guess my style of writing is more of the Christian radio industry, like the pop side of things. I have a new single coming out May 24th called All About You. And we have released the video for it. It's on YouTube right now. So I'm really looking forward to getting that out. That is my first Christian radio single in 4 years.
Exciting.
I took a little stint and did an ode to my father, who was running in the country business for about 80 in the 80s. And so here in Texas, the Texas country scene is big. So did a little run of that, but kind of wrapped that up and getting back into the Christian music scene and just really enjoying just kind of rebuilding and relaunching things. And so this is the first single at the start of that in May. So I'm really excited about it.
And those watching, make sure to follow Whitley as well. He has a lot of cool songs out there. Go on his Instagram page. I'll share that as well. And you can check out his other singles and his new single. Brandon or Adam, do you guys have anything very quick before we wrap this up?
You want to go, Adam? I
No,
saw
go
your
for it, go
hand.
for it.
Oh, I saw your hand. That's why I was
that
like,
was
go
the-
ahead, go for it, man. I'm sitting on like 50 songs right now, and I don't know which one we're gonna release, but it's gonna happen sometime this year. I dropped an EP back in last fall, which was for TV and film. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if I dropped a worship record at some point in the next year or two as well. I've been primarily in the pop side for the last couple years, but stay tuned. Stay tuned to what's going on. Like I said, I have a lot of stuff. I've been writing for a lot of different artists. And so also that's a drop. If y'all know any artists that need writing or production or anything like that, just would love to partner and collab. So
And
Sweet.
thanks for sharing that. We'll make sure to follow Brandon. Brandon's has a lot of cool pop songs out. He's releasing new music. He has a lot of his wife's a cool podcaster too. You can check her out as well.
she's a
Not as
cool
cool as us,
podcaster.
but don't tell her I
Not
said
a-
that.
well, I would not tell her you said that.
But we'll see you in a couple weeks, probably, Brandon. Like about a week or so, probably. So
yeah.
instead of this virtual screen.
Right. Yeah. Let's do it.
Adam, do you have anything else?
Yeah, just my band Classic Disaster is coming out with our album finally at the end, or the EP at the end of the month. So that's gonna be fun. Too Blind to See. We're really excited about just getting it out because there's so many new songs that we've like tried to start writing. My wife and I went through a miscarriage about a year and a half ago, and there's like a lot that I haven't sat with the pen or computer to start writing for that on yet. And so I'm dreading, it's bittersweet, but to just kind of let God and me just go through that and write about it. With metal, we can go there, we can kind of just pause on the bad and pause on the hurt and the pain and how God has still been there through all of that. And it's crazy because my wife and I also just had our son almost 8 months ago. Um, our son Joey. And so there's these like so like missing the child that we lost, but loving the child we have is just this crazy wave of emotions that we've been going through in the last year and a half. And that so a lot of writing will come out of that tension in that place. So that's happening there. And then just like keep all of us, whoever's listening, watching, keep all of us worship leaders in prayer. We see that like people are leaving churches, and I think our hearts hurt for that because we know the value of worshiping God just in general, and we know God's worth. We can't know God's worth. We know that his worth is so much greater than even what we think. And so when we write songs and we lead congregations in worship, and when we have these rehearsals and these podcasts, it's in the hope that we are helping the body to see God's worth and to see that we should be worshiping him and love him and share our testimonies and share our stories. Sharing these conversations is just a beautiful thing. But pray for us to just continue doing that steadfastly and faithfully and effectively.
And thank you for again joining us, Adam. Everyone check out Adam's music. Check out the EP definitely when it comes out, and also check out his cover for Memphis May Fire and everything. We posted a little sneak peek of it on our story yesterday. So if you missed it, go on his profile. You can find it on his profile. Don't worry. Brad, do you have anything you want to say before I wrap this up very quickly?
Yeah, thank you guys again for taking your time to help talk about worship music, to just thank God for all that he's done with it, talking about things that really stand out to us and just impact. Again, worship music, it's more than an industry, it's a ministry of it. That's all just saying, Jesus, you're worthy. And it's awesome. I love it. I've been passionate about it for years, and just talking with you guys who are also passionate lovers of it, leading it and sharing that, it's awesome. So thank you guys again. And everyone watching, follow these guys, support them, check out their music. You will not be disappointed.
And thank you for everyone that tuned in. And we'll see you guys next time on the Christianity Press podcast. It'll probably be a couple of weeks because I'll be with Braden, but who knows? We might drop a surprise here or there. So stay tuned with our page for more information on that as well. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time.